Okay, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. It is another day, and I just want to welcome y'all back to what used to be Get Your Shit Together with Lexx, but it is now Life of Lexx. And let's get into it. So, I decided to change the name of the show because I I realized that instead of me helping y'all get y'all shit together, y'all were really helping me get my shit together. Because just to be able to talk my feelings out loud is something so special. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to change the name. It's a new chapter, new era of my life. Just had a birthday 2 days ago on February 20th. And I turned 25. I'm grown woman territory now. So put some respect on my name. Okay. And I just really needed to make some changes in my life. Stop doing things the old way, do things the new way. Just realize that it's not up to me anymore, right? My life is not up to me anymore. No, I can try to picture myself of what I want to do or what I would like my life to be like in 5 years, 10 years, a month from now, whatever. That's not going to be the reality unless I make it my reality. And oftentimes when we try to make that picture in our head fit what's in front of our eyes, we just get so caught up in doing whatever it takes for that picture. And I just realized as much as I was trying to have this pretty picture or maybe even a terrifying picture and just making my life fit into any of these pictures that I put in my head, it was just ultimately driving me crazy. It was just leaving me stuck. And so I can't keep trying to vision my path because I'm not here for that. I don't know what I'm here for. I just do what I do. And I just gotta try not to stress about it. And that is very important with me because I'm an only child, right? So I used to be left at home alone a lot. And I had a lot of me time. A lot of time to do what I want, explore within the boundary of my home and try different things, figure out who am I inside this home by myself. And sometimes I got in a little trouble. Like, I remember I was maybe like 5 or 6. And I wasn't at home by myself. I had a babysitter, but she was in one room and I was in the other. And I snuck to my mom's room. And so my mom had a box of matches on the counter, well, on her dresser. And so I was like, oh, well, I've seen her use the matches, so I wanted to see if I could do it. So I lit the matches and they lit on fire. And I was like, ooh. But I was like, oh, this is fire. So I put the match down on the dresser. And then something was like, well, put the fire out. So I pick it back up, put the fire out. And then so it didn't burn anything, but it left ashes on her dresser. And she had like a cloth over her dresser so you could see the ashes. Like I couldn't just swipe it off. Like you had to wash the rag or the cloth or whatever. So when she gets home, she was like, "What's this? What's this?" And I was like, I don't know. And I don't know. That's just one thing. Like I feel bad for lying. Obviously, right? That wasn't good. Um, but it's crazy for me because I've always thought, like, what made me pick the match back up and blow it out? What made me do that? And I just cannot explain it. Like, my pure curiosity was to see myself doing what my mom was doing and lighting the match. I never really just paid attention after that, right? But some just told me, pick the match back up and blow it out. And I did it. And I didn't burn my house down. So yeah. Sometimes we just gotta do things that come up as we're doing things. Because had I never picked the match up in the first place, I would have never have known to listen to myself to save myself from something bad happening. Because it was quite natural for a 5 or 6 year old just be playing with shit, getting into shit. That's very natural. But what isn't quite natural is for a child to know right from wrong, or how to solve a problem before it becomes to a big problem. Because, kids, let a little kid get in some baby powder. Shit. You're going to have baby powder in places you didn't know baby powder could be. Okay? I remember one time, one of my little cousins, she was playing with nail polish remover. And I caught her and I was like, I took it from her. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I hope you didn't drink this, right? And then I'm trying to clean up the mess and I realized the nail polish remover was everywhere. It got on, like, my baby pictures. So my baby pictures were distorted and I was just so heartbroken. I'm just like, I can't be mad at a 2-year-old because she's a 2-year-old. She don't know, but she didn't know any better, right? And I can't be mad because some pictures are ruined because I have pictures of the pictures, right? And I also know what I look like, right? And there's also more pictures. Like, if this picture is here, there's obviously more pictures somewhere else. So I can't cry about it. But it just felt so overwhelming at that time. It was just like, oh my gosh, this was like my things. And I was like, oh, these are my baby pictures. And now I can't even have cute baby pictures. And I'm like, I was still a cute baby. Like, you ain't got to believe me. I don't care if you do or not. And I was also a baby with boobs. Like, I looked like Teddy Graham. Like the little Teddy Graham crackers with the little boobs. I had that as a baby. Yeah. I'm just telling y'all a lot about me today. Because, y'all, I got my first training bra in the first grade. Like, I couldn't have been no older than 7. And my mom picked me up from school and took me to Target. And I got the little 3-pack of the, I think it was the black, white, and pink, and gray. So I guess it was 4-pack of the little training bras. And by the 4th grade, I was wearing a double D. It's wild. But also, when I turned 25, and I spent my 25th birthday in my bathroom doing my hair most of the day. Well, for a large part of the day, right? And I just had to let things go. But even though I thought that I was letting things go, I was still hurt on the inside. Because the day before my birthday, my feelings were hurt. Because I was told that I was sick in the head for feeling depressed after having a miscarriage. And I was like, that is a very wild thing to say, for one. And for two, it's a lack of compassion, right? And that did hurt my feelings. Like, it shouldn't have, because obviously I wasn't sick in the head. I was heartbroken, as any person should be, right? And I wasn't given the support from that person that I needed when this happened, which obviously left me to my own thoughts and my own devices. And if my thoughts and everything in my device on my phone is everybody just wanting to give up, well, naturally, I'm going to feel the same way. And the world is fighting so hard right now. Like, we're all struggling. Just a little bit. And that breaks my heart. Like, all right, who wants to keep going and you're just seeing everything around you just struggle here, struggle there. Can't get this from the store, can't get that from the store. Like, it's so much. But the thing is that life isn't about what we see. Because it's a lot of crazy shit happening before our eyes. But there are things going on beyond our understanding, is what I'm trying to explain. And I don't have that understanding. I don't know what the hell going on. I be telling God, like, it's real ghetto down here. It's real ghetto. And he made it ghetto. Right? But I also just don't want to stop fulfilling my purpose, whatever that is. Because I'm obviously here for a reason. Or at least I hope so. And that's what faith is, hope for things you can't see. Because, like, for example, right? Yesterday, I went to the doctor. And I had been thinking about this doctor's appointment all month. Okay? Go to the doctor. And everything's okay, I guess. I didn't die. Or I'm not dead, so I still have to wait until my surgery. So I leave from the doctor's office, stop at the gas station, and I'm chatting it up with the cashier. And so I'm walking out, I'm all high vibes. Why I run into my ex? After he hurt my feelings the day before my birthday. And then on my birthday, he offered to take me out to dinner. And I was like, what the fuck do I look like? And I was really not expecting that. Right? And, you know, most of the time I'm looking out, when I leave the house, I'm expecting to run into him. So every time I see a truck that looks like his, I'm like trying to make sure that it is or it isn't. But when I'm least expecting it is when he appears. Which is crazy. Because I remember in high school, I used to have this crush on this boy. And y'all, he could sing so damn good. Like, to this day, he can still sing real good. He works at Disney World. Whatever Disney is in Florida, okay? But yeah, he can sing real good, and he was a big Beyonce fan. I was a big Beyonce fan. And we used to Snapchat each other singing, like, parts of Beyonce songs, right? So, after he graduated and went to go work at Disney, like, well, I guess he wanted to go to school, but he ended up working at Disney, right? So, during the school year, like, people would, like, People just come pop up at the school to come see our course teacher for some reason. And some days we'd be in chorus and we'd just be talking and his name would come up and we'd be like, oh yeah, he's in Disney. And then my friends would be like, oh yeah, you remember you had a crush on him? I'm like, huh, shut up. And then we would get to class or we'd be in the middle of class and he'd just walk in the fucking room. And I'm like, bro, do you not have a job? Do you not have somewhere to be? Get the fuck. I'm trying to get my work done. I'm trying to get my grade. You're a distraction. We are no longer classmates. Okay? So, what I'm trying to say is that the things that we don't see, because I didn't see any reason for him to be there in that classroom, because he was supposed to be at Disney. And then he would show up. And I'd be like, what the fuck? We was just talking about you. And I was like, well, I'm glad he at Disney. I ain't got to worry about it. Right? This is out of my mind. And then poof. Out of thin air. And whenever I have visioned how I want something to go, it doesn't usually go that way. Right? And that could either upset me or upset me. I'm just keeping honest with you. Like, if I feel like we gonna have a nice romantic evening and then we don't, I'm gonna be even more pissed off because I done planned a nice romantic evening. Okay? So, I have to work on that. To not let things upset me. Because if I hadn't had this vision in my head in the first place, I would have just had to go with the flow. Alright? And that's also another thing. When I moved to Augusta, I had never, just been to Augusta. I stopped at the Golden Corral one time on a trip, like a family trip, and we were going to South Carolina, so we just stopped at the Golden Corral, got back on the bus, got back on the road, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't really stop through. And when I came, they told me I got approved for the apartment, got in my car and drove 3 hours. Didn't even know if my car was, I figured that my car was okay for me to drive it because I had just got a tune-up because I was going to drive to New Orleans, but I didn't end up going. So I was like, you know what? In 3 hours, I can do that. I can do it. So I went, came to Augusta, got the apartment, signed the lease, and I get back home, and I'm like, what the hell did I just do? What the hell? And then I emailed the leasing office, and I'm like, can I get out of that lease? And they're like, no, bitch. You signed it. And I was like, my name isn't even known. My name was on it, but they messed up my birthday on there. And they're like, they're not worried about that. Your signature's on it, sweetheart. And I was like, well, damn it. I'll be over there. So by that Sunday, I was over there. I was over here, right? And I didn't know what I was going to encounter while I was here. And I encountered a lot. I thought I knew myself before I came, and then lost myself, and found myself again, and then lost myself again. And then I'm finding myself now, getting back to me, you know what I'm saying? To your girl. And that is why, that is one of the reasons why I came to the decision to change my stage presence name, or whatever the hell you want to call it, to Big Lexx, right? Because for one, I'm not big. I'm 5'2.5". Like, not big at all. But if you met me, you would think, like, people tell me, they're like, oh, I didn't know you were that short. And I'm like, you see me all the time. How do you not know I'm short? And they're like, well, you just seem taller. And I'm like, no, bitch, I'm 5'2". I got a step stool, 2 of them, okay? I can't reach the top shelf. Can barely reach the second, to be honest with you. But anyways, so for one, most of my family call me Lexx, Lexi. And when I came up with the handle, I want to Lex you up, and I was like, well, when I was younger, I wanted to be famous, right? So I had figured out what my famous name was going to be, and so I settled on Lexx with 2 X's. And I would practice my signature, like, I want to say I was maybe around 10 when I came up with Lexx, right? And then so I would practice my signature, and then that's where I came up with I want to Lex you up. And I just kept it at that, and then at school and at work, I was still Muriel. And so I got really annoyed, really annoyed when I would tell people my name is Muriel. They'd be like, oh, like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Or they'd be like, oh, Muriel. Or they would just mispronounce it, or they would misspell it. And I'm just like, bro, don't even worry about it. Just don't worry about it. It's Miss Johnson. It's okay. But now I was like, you know what? It's not okay, right? They need to know my name. And people assume, my middle name is Alexis, so that's where Lex comes from. But I never was just really called Alexis. Like, oh hey, Alexis. They'd be like, oh, hey, Alexi, or whatever. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to put Big Lexx. Like, go be Lexi. Go be Lexi. Yeah. Like, from that, yeah. I stole that. It's okay. But yeah, so that is where Big Lexx came from. So, if you see me in the streets, call me Big Lexx. And I'm going to answer. Because that's my name. And that's who I really truly am. Like, I'm still Muriel. I'm still Muriel Alexis Johnson. But I'm also Big Lexx. And we're all just one crazy person. Not crazy, but one interesting person. I asked one of my friends yesterday, what were 3 words she would use to describe me? And she said, funny, interesting, and unpredictable. And I was like, huh? I was like, why you say that? And she was like, your life story is very interesting. Like, and she was like, you never know what you're going to say. And I'm just like, you know what? My life is very, very, very interesting. Like, bitch, I'm concerned. And it's me, okay? Like, for one thing, I witnessed a lot of hit and runs. Well, not a lot, but I've witnessed a couple of hit and runs in my life in front of my very eyes, and I don't like that. You hit that person's car, fix it, damn it. Shit. I don't know, but be careful on the road. Please be careful, y'all. And I've been in a couple of accidents. And really, like, if I would have stayed in my head for too long, I would have never gotten back in a car or behind the wheel. I would have been too scared. Or, like, the things that we see with our eyes are what holds us back from life, if that makes sense. Like, okay, let me break it down. So, Final Destination. I ain't never really seen Final Destination, right? But I see y'all talk about it on Twitter about when you get behind one of them trucks with the logs on the back and you be scared. And I be like, yeah, I be scared about that shit too. Okay. I get the fuck from around them. Cause ain't no log finna come fly in my face. And it's like, if I'm too in my head to be scared to drive, I'll never go anywhere. When I could exercise good judgment, stay my distance, for one, or get around them, don't let it be your like, don't let that stop you. Because you're going to see some crazy shit. You're going to see some shit you ain't never seen before. The other day, I was driving, and I prayed. I said, Lord, show me something I ain't never seen before. Y'all want to know what I seen? A new pothole. I was like, you know what, Lord? I ain't never seen that pothole there before. I'm glad you showed it to me, because I would have fell in that motherfucker. Whoo! I would have fell in there. And I would have been, like, every time I see a pothole, I clench up. Like, to brace myself for impact. When I could just go around it. Like, pay attention to the road, and I will notice potholes more often, and I can just go around them with good judgment instead of clenching up all the time, which throws my body into fight or flight, right? And that's what we're trying to get out of. We're trying to stop fighting, stop struggling. Like, you get in the water, you don't know how to swim, stop struggling. And just float. Okay? Just move with ease, move with the spirit, wherever your spirit goes. Or not. I need you to know where your spirit is at, okay? And there's one thing that I'm going to tell you today. Is that we need to figure out where our spirit is at. Because like I said, this life thing, it's beyond what our eyes can see, right? Because we can't see the air. There's a whole lot of shit in this air. And that'll kill us. But what are we supposed to do? Stop breathing? No. Keep going. You know what I'm saying? I also need to practice more Spanish. Like, I need to go travel and study abroad and talk to more Spanish speaking people in other countries. Because even Spanish speaking people, like, when they come from their country to another, their dialect changes, their words change, because every country talks a different type of Spanish, really. Like, it's still Spanish, but you're going to learn new words every day, right? And if you're trying to learn, like, you can't learn a universal Spanish, if that makes, like, you can learn most of Spanish, but there's gonna be words that you stumble upon, or words that you don't know, for, like, every day. Even like in English, there's tons of words I don't know, but I look them up. I definitely look them up, because I kept seeing sexual immorality in the Bible, and I was like, well, what is sexual immorality? And it was like, well, being sexually promiscuous. And I'm like, well, let's break that down. What does it mean to be immoral, right? And that means to, well, first, what does it mean to have morals, right? And that's to have values, beliefs, right? You believe you want, like, if you believe that you gotta clean coochie, then you gotta keep it clean. And what does that mean? Can't be fucking in porta potties. Just can't do it. Just can't do it. Anybody that's trying to fuck you in a porta potty, they don't need to be around you. Okay? So, what it really comes down to is interpretation. And you can go off somebody else's interpretation, or you can look up the definition and come up with your own conclusion, your own interpretation, right? Because you can interpret somebody else's interpretation, which might not make too much sense, because you don't know where the hell they got that information from, right? They could have got that from somebody else's interpretation from, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bunch of he say, she say. I'm getting stuck on my words today. It's a bunch of he say, she say, right? But do you know what it really say? Do you know what to say? And if not, go look it up. Simple as that. Because you learn a lot by reading. And I used to be a good reader. Like, I could read a lot. I would read a lot when I was younger. And then I would get on Twitter and I'm like, well, this is all the reading I need to do. But when I'm on Twitter and I'm reading about people's thoughts and opinions and seeing all these crazy, crazy things, I'm just like, I need a break. My eyes need a break. I have seen it all. Okay? I saw this tweet today of, I'm assuming it was a woman in a suit that had a penis structure attached to her head, and at the legs there was a vagina, and so she bent over and put the penis in the vagina. And I was like, what? I have seen it all. I have seen it all. You know what I'm saying? So I hope there is some better days to come. It's gonna be some changes made to where y'all just can't do no crazy shit like that. Like, I understand. I understand the thought process, right? I see what you did. But you really didn't have to do it. You really didn't. But I'm glad that she did, because you know what? You can fuck with yourself and yourself only, or you can just keep letting people fuck with you and get you fucked up, okay? That's what I understand from that, right? That's my interpretation. Y'all see how we came full circle? Okay? And y'all kill me with the 180 and the 360 debates, because it doesn't really matter. Just flip the script on these hoes. Just flip the script. Okay? And leave the numbers to whoever else want to do the numbers. Like, people ask me all the time, what's my major? And I'm like, oh, finance. And they're like, oh, you're good with numbers. And I'm like, not really. I can follow a process. I can follow a formula. It's not rocket science. I guess, like, if the math don't math right, then that means that I messed up somewhere. So I have to retrace my steps and redo the math. That's what math is. Okay, math generally has an answer, a correct answer. And if your answer ain't that correct answer, then you're wrong. Science, on the other hand, is testing the answer. It came from the math. Because they're like, well, why can't it be 23.7? It's not supposed to be. It's not the math. That's not the formula. It's not how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to do the math, get the right answer. Okay. I don't know. I used to be a math major, y'all, and I had to take calculus 2. I took it summer semester, dropped it. All right, dropped it like a day in. Then so I took it fall semester, dropped it by the withdrawal date because I kept failing the tests. I was like, there's no way I can pass the class at this point because I failed all the tests. And they all add up. And it's all going to add up to a big fat F. So I withdrew. Right? And y'all go to my professor's office. I would talk to him. Got caught cheating. Still failed the test. Oh, Jesus. Right? And then so I withdrew. And took it again in the spring. Failed. Made it through the whole entire semester. Showed up to class. Still failed. I didn't even go take my final. Because I was like, I already know I'm failing. And I ain't even going to waste my energy. So I just didn't go. Then here comes fall semester. Taking Calc 2 again. I'm doing a little better. Making C's. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just straight F's. And then it just kept getting harder and harder. And I'm like, it's not hard. I was thinking about it too much. I was thinking about everything too much. Like, I just didn't know what to do. Like, it was just too much. Too many numbers. Okay? Because at a certain part of Calc 2, shit just starts getting weird. And there's exclamation points that are math. Like, I couldn't. It was too much, right? It was too much. I'm going to the math tutor lab. Going to my professor's office hours. Y'all, this last time I took the class, I kid y'all the fuck not. I get to the final, I had a cheat sheet in the back of my calculator. My professor wrote the answers on the board. Like, well, not the answers, but the formulas that were needed on the board. So I was like, oh, well, I don't need the cheat sheet. So I forgot to cover it up. So my teacher walked around. He saw that I had a cheat sheet. And then he saw that I covered it up midway through the test. So he let me finish the test. And when I turned it in, he pulled me to the side and he was like, hey, I saw you had a cheat sheet. So I'm going to give you a 0. And have a good day. I was just like, where's the nearest cliff I can drive off of right now? Like, where is it? Where's a bridge I could jump off of? Oh, I was so mad. I was so mad. Because he really did not have to let me finish taking the test. I was stressing the fuck out. I grew at least 2 gray hairs during that test. And he could have saved me, and he let me finish the test. And I was like, that is a low down, dirty, selfish thing to do. Ugh. So when I got back to my apartment and I was talking to my roommates, and at the end of the night, I was like, you know who the fuck what? I'm changing my major. I just can't do this math shit anymore. There's too many fucking numbers. Too many numbers. But I don't really think it was too many numbers. I think that they weren't really doing a good job of teaching. Because if the formula was pretty simple, I should have been able to follow it. I don't know. The math just wasn't mathing. I just couldn't do it anymore. And then I wanted to be a high school math teacher because I wanted to be a teacher that could help explain math better to students, right? But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a history teacher. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I wanted to be a history teacher. So one of the history classes I signed up for was for European history. And when I tell y'all, my teacher had one too many times to tell me a story of history where white people killed other people, where I dropped the class in the middle of the class and walked out because I could not. I could not. So I just went on a series of changing my majors, and then I was like, you know what? They're going to call me in the office sooner or later to try to sit me down and figure shit out, and I don't want to do that. So I switched schools to keep doing the same shit. And now I'm at a point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm thankful for my education. I got my degree. Don't worry about which one. Don't worry about my major. And just know I got a degree. And with that degree, I'm doing my best to make sure that the math be mathing for y'all. Whether I got to be a math teacher or whatever the hell I got to do, I'm still going to get the job done, right? I'm still going to explain this shit to y'all in a way that makes sense so that we ain't all struggling. Because I done seen some people struggle in math class and do some strange things for some answers on a test. Okay? Don't let that be you. It wasn't me, but like I said, I done seen some people do some strange things for some test answers. Because the math just wasn't mathing. And they couldn't just follow the formula. Because the formula wasn't made simple. I guess that's the key. Make the formula simple. Shit. So, with that being said, I am glad that y'all are here to join me on this new chapter, new section of my life. I don't know what's come of it, but I'm just so thankful that y'all listen, y'all love my story, tell you people to listen to it, you know. And, you know, this is Life of Lexx. This is a living autobiography. Literally. And I might tell you the same story more than once or twice. But that's the whole point of the living autobiography, because I'm going to see it from a different perspective, but the same lens every time. Like, the same lens every time. My eyes ain't changed. Okay? I got my glasses on right now, but that's very rare that I have my glasses on. But I can still see, if that makes sense. So, this is a new chapter of my life of not struggling, not worrying, doing grown woman shit. No more hood rat shit with my friends. We're doing grown woman shit now. And if you ain't trying to do grown woman shit or grown man shit or grown day shit, grown bae shit, okay? We ain't on no grown shit, then go back to the playground. We ain't got time for that. It's big Lexx territory, right? Got to be mature around here. Ain't no running off snitching. And yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. And I'm also running out of time. So, love y'all. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. Bye.